Welcome everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Bread for Soul Convos with myself, Sir LSG. And today is another special one. It's a Monday, it's a beautiful Monday morning. And I have on the other end of the line Julian Gomes, DJ, producer, super producer, I might say, and just generally a nice guy. And I'm stoked to have you on the show, brother. How are you? Wait first, before you answer that, I actually need to unmute you. Uh, yeah, I've got Julian Gomes on the show. I'm actually the whole show is really about sharing knowledge and sharing experiences with people, especially about our journey, so people can have some insight as to what really goes on to an artist's mind, how certain artists achieve certain things. And like I said on the show, Julian Gomes, brother, thank you so much for doing this. How are you?
I'm good, bro. How are you, bro? Thanks for the nice intro, bro.
Ah, bro, I could have said so much about you, like for the work that you've done, but I think we'll unpack it as we go on with the show. You know what I mean?
All good, bro. Yeah, it's all good.
For sure. Then, I want to ask you about. I mean, you've been DJing since 2003. That's like, yeah, it's a long time ago. Um,
Bro.
yeah, and I remember seeing you. I was not even a DJ yet. I think this was 2004, something like that. I was in grade 11, and you were coming to go chat. In your
Yeah,
school shirt, bruh. Like,
bro. Yeah.
yeah. How would you say? How would you describe your energy back then as a person, as somebody who's coming into the game, who's learning how to DJ? What was really like your mindset as a DJ when you were starting out?
My mindset, bro. I think I just wanted to play music. I just literally wanted to play music. I wanted to collect records, and I wanted to. For me, it was a form of escapism. So if I could escape to a place that took me away from the world that I didn't really enjoy, like that was all I needed. So I think that was the driving force that I always gravitated towards. But yeah, it started at a very young age, bro. As you saw, like with my school uniform and my blazer, just chilling there. So I didn't even know, bro, that you were there as well. Go chat days. I'm trying to think who was there in the beginning, but obviously, it's been a while, bro. I've been on that show. Yeah.
No, I mean, I wasn't working here, bro. I was in Mafikeng. I was in high school, and I was
Oh, I
just a,
see.
a fan of the show. Like many other people.
Yeah.
That show, this particular show, hit refresh. Shout out to DJ Strategy for allowing me to
Yeah.
use his studio, his hit refresh studio. I mean, that show, a lot of people used to watch it, bro, including myself, including Beats Radio. And
Yeah.
you were a resident on the show, and bro, to
Yeah.
see somebody who's my age or younger playing on the show and with such energy, bro, like I loved
Yeah.
seeing that so much. But I want to ask, you
That's
said
good. Yeah.
it was an escape. What were you escaping from at that age, at that time?
I don't know, man. I think as kids, I suppose, when you're that young, because I started DJing from a very, very young age. Some kids like enjoy. Well, I enjoyed playing soccer as well, but some kids like playing games and soccer and playing with their friends and escaping with their friends and that kind of mindset. But for me, I found a lot of comfort in music. I found like I wanted to just really dive into that. That's why you see that energy is because I feel that until this day, even when I play, even if like it's not like a packed event and people are just chilling and it's a nice like chill session, me, I'm still going in. Like for me, it's about how I escape to that place, and hopefully I can make people escape too. But yeah, that's just always been my persona as a DJ. Some DJs have, every DJ has his way. And
Mm,
my way has been, I want to escape and I would like you to escape with me.
yeah,
And that's the energy that I've always brought as a DJ.
yeah. Nah, I totally
Yeah.
I totally get it, bro. And have you always been? Well, are you the way I see you right now? Like the way I know, every time we've met, bro. Like you've always been a kind person. You've always been kind of quiet. You don't have you're not saying much.
Yeah,
You're not talking a lot unless you really have to. Especially about the music. That's when you see the passion coming out. Are
yeah.
you that quiet person besides you being a DJ? Like just at home, are you just keeping to yourself? Is that who you are?
I think in general, yeah, in general, I'm a pretty chill person. But I suppose when um, I like when I'm comfortable, like when I'm in the space of people that I know um, very, very well and that have known me for a long time, like I'm a little bit more open. But obviously, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like, when I go to a club or event or festival, I'm always just like scoping. I'm reading the energy of the room. That's the quiet or the more reserved thing that you see. But I'm just concentrating. I'm not doing it because it's my personality. It's just I feel like I have a duty and a responsibility to move the room, and in order to do that, I need to study and understand what's going on in that room with that energy with those people, and I just need to figure it out, and then that's my role, that's my duty.
Yeah,
So maybe that's why I'm a little bit more chilling in the corner of the club, just scoping things out.
sure.
But yeah, like if we're chilling and yeah, but like I think a lot of people know that I'm just chill, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm just a chill. Yeah.
And just talking about clubs, bro. Like, do you did you go out? Because or where did? Let me ask you this. Maybe it's a twofold question. Like, did you go out?
Yeah.
Was going out? Is that where you got the passion for DJing, or how did you start? How did you get into DJing basically?
So for me, it's like a nostalgia of like walking into my cousin's room because I obviously have an older cousin and a brother that was in the scene and collecting records. So for me, it was like walking into Michael G's room, his little back room, and just seeing like stacks of records, to the ceiling, and literally you can smell the room, bro. The room smells like vinyl.
Yeah.
I don't know how many rooms smell like that these days, but like that's how I got into music. It's just that everything about that like absorbed me, eh? So like I just kind of that's what grabbed me first from DJing, and then going out, yeah, man. Like I probably wasn't allowed to, but yeah, I was clubbing when I was in my teens, bro. Like, and I was able to because obviously, I could go with my older brother, my older cousin. I think the first time I played in a real nightclub, I think I was 16, and we even had to. I think we had to get permission to be like, look, from the club owner, because the club owner obviously didn't want cops to be, come through and raid the place, and then, he gets a fine. So we had to go through this whole way of getting permission, and then I played at the club. I just came in and out, and I got picked up, and so I've always been into clubs. I've always been going out, and yeah, man, just the culture. I would say I went out more back then because obviously there was more nightclubs, there was more, just I was more interested in just kind of checking out which club, how do these DJs play, check Vinny out, check Chris out, see how they work. I kind of just sit on the DJ box and watch how they play. They're probably like, what is this guy doing? But yeah, man, I was just like it was really awkward, I think, for a DJ to be like playing a record and then look to the right and then see like a little kid staring at it. What's going on? So, but yeah, that was me, bro. That's how I suppose people also remember me, just being a little kid in the club,
Yeah.
wanting to be a DJ. And
And
that's
and have you ever? I mean, like obviously, I want to know through the years. I'm gonna tease you a bit because you and Vinny are very short people. But Vinny, you can see Vinny is an elderly. He's an old man. But
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
have you ever had issues with getting into clubs, even as a DJ? Like, do you ever
Oh,
get
bro,
people like,
dang, long, a lot, bro. Like, yo, even like when I was like able, like when I was 18, 19, 20, I was still struggling to get into clubs because obviously, like when I shave, and obviously like the height, but like so yeah, I would still struggle. Even I remember getting stopped. I had like my vinyls with me, and I was walking up into a club in Hatfield in Pretoria, And the bouncers first stopped me. He was like, "No, you can't come in." I was like, "I'm DJing, like I'm old enough. Like I'm 18, 19 years old. I can play." The club owner comes out. He's like, "No, you can't play. I'm sorry." Yeah, and then we literally had to get the promoters to come out and like vouch for me and be like, "Cool, no, he's old enough. Let him come in." So yeah, man. Like I haven't stopped. I don't know about now. Now it doesn't really happen. But yeah,
Yeah.
18, 19 years old, it was
Yeah.
still happening, bro.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
yeah.
Nice, nice, bro. There's a clip that I have here for you, addressed to you. Um,
Yeah.
and let's check it out, and then we can carry on with the chat.
Okay, cool, bro.
Yeah, Julian means a lot to me. First and foremost, we are family. We are cousins, and he's my godchild. And I had the pleasure of working with him and releasing an album and being nominated for awards and releasing music on so many local international labels and seeing him grow into the fine man he is today and knowing his character, his personality, humble, loving, caring, good person. That's just amazing. And his skill and determination to learn and work hard on music and create music and make music and play music and have a passion for music. I think it's amazing and it probably runs in the family. And I look forward to seeing him and grow up to be a fantastic, successful, loving, caring, awesome person. And always wish him the best and love him with all my heart. And he's great. And I think he's awesome. And may God bless him with many more years of all that he needs and wants and prays for. And I'll always be here, and we'll always be the G family. We are family more than anything else. Before whatever happens after that, and that's it. And I love him lots.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, name Michael G, bro. Yeah, that's my family, man.
Sure.
That's a nice message.
For sure. And tell me, bro. Like, I mean, Michael is such a nice guy. Like, you are nice, ne? You're a nice guy too. But like Michael G.
Like he's the nicest, right? That's even the thing. Like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I can't even imagine Michael G being angry at anything. Like just by the way, the energy that he has. I love it so much, brother. But I wanna
He's
ask
very
you.
chill. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He is. He is. I want to ask you about G family, right? Like, I mean, you guys are obviously cousins. He's your godfather.
Yeah.
Why did you guys start G family? How did that begin? And the production, what was happening during that time?
I think like how it started is like it's like now I have to really trace my memory back. But I was just like working on like a really bad laptop, trying to figure out a reason, and like a computer that also used to just crash the whole time. And I was trying to figure out how to like, make music because I'm self-taught. I didn't go to school. Like all the music I've ever made was just based on like trial and error. So I'm not musically trained or anything. So back then is when I was starting my journey of trying to figure out, software and, music in general, how to actually make music. Obviously, I had a little bit of like a sketch based on like DJing, so I knew, okay, cool, this is how you make a track, and this is how you got a little bit of beats in the beginning, and then you bring in like chords and bass lines, etc., etc. But yeah, so I was doing that, and Mike used to come and visit me, and he used to just be like, "Yo, what are you doing?" Because Mike was never really into engineering or music production. He was just strictly DJing. That's what he loved doing, is just DJing and collecting records, and that was his thing. So yeah, he kind of came over and he's like, "Yo, man, what are you doing here?" And yeah, I worked on some stuff, and he's like, "Yo, this is kind of cool." Then we decided, "Yo, why don't we just do like a project? Let's just do a song together and see how it comes out." And that's when we did People with Bullets. And back then, God rest his soul, but yeah, we went to AJ's studio, Art Jones. And yeah, we just sat there and, with Cisco and AJ. And yeah, we just like made some music. We played them our songs because back then, Cisco and Jones was doing their thing. So we had like in terms of Pretoria, they were like the producers that everyone was like, yo man, Sisson Jones. And so we went and we like played them the music, and they're like, yeah, this is cool, man. So then AJ was like, yeah, it's cool, but check this out. And he played like this Rhodes like he improvised just on the Rhodes, like one take, and that was it. He just did one take. I couldn't believe it, and I was like, Michael's like, yeah, that's it, song done, package, mix, master, done. So that was our first song, and that's how G Family started. Was just two guys, family members that both love music and just wanted to do a song to see how it would come out. And then from all that, we just started going, and we did Night Shift, Break the Silence, The Guest, all of those things. Yeah.
Dope, right? I mean, that was an amazing song. I like the fact that you you like you mentioned Art Jones. Because to me, he's one of the really the pioneers. Like in our scene, man. Like and God bless his soul, brother. Like it was such a difficult thing to see him go like that. What are the other memories that you have of Art Jones?
Yo, man. So many, but like I think most of my memories just come from like, being at school, which is like a long distance away from their studio in Hatfield, and I would walk from my school, my high school. I'd literally if like PT was the last period, I'd be like, bro, I'm not gonna run around and play in the grass and stuff. I'm gonna just get my bags and I'm gonna walk to the studio and check them out. So that's what I'd do, bro. I'd walk like really far, bro. Like I'd literally get blisters sometimes because that's how far I had to walk to get to their studio, to Cisco and AJ's studio. And I'd get there and like, they would be chilling, and then I'd walk in and then they'd be like, yo, who's this guy in the school uniform and just coming here to buy records? Same thing, bro. Like people were very, like they couldn't understand like how such a young kid like was so interested in DJing and music, So yeah, I just went into the studio and like AJ's playing chords, and I'm like, yo, man, this is like, he's really good, and they're playing me their music, and I'm like, yo, man, these guys are really good. So that's my memories of AJ. And then also just like the motivation, like he always used to just be like, fine, guys, if these labels, yeah, no, we know these labels will screwing you over, but it's fine, don't worry. We're gonna get through it, we're gonna pick ourselves up, we're gonna start our own thing one day. And I think just like it's amazing how someone like AJ could just keep motivating people, no matter how how much like what he was going through in his life. He just kept bringing people up, and I found it like so amazing, like how someone can do that, Yeah.
Bruh, dope, man, dope. I wanna talk about you guys, you and Michael, SG family. You are a summer nominated group. I should have put that in the intro. You guys were nominated for a summer. Tell me
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, I forgot about that, bro.
You shouldn't, bro.
Okay.
That should be in
No,
your
it's
bio.
bad, bro. It's bad.
After this, you need to include that in your bio, bro. Summer nominee. Like, come on. Yeah,
Crazy.
crazy,
I
man.
forgot about that. Sorry, bro.
Do you remember what were you guys nominated for?
Was it for the album? I think it was for Break the Silence.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, Deep House Chronicles.
Yes.
I remember now, it's coming back to me. Yeah, I think it was Break the Silence, Deep House Chronicles. And yeah, we were nominated up against like Mikasa and like a couple of, I think Mikasa won, I'm not sure. But yeah, man, it's like for situations like that, like always nice to like reflect on, like, we would talk about it. But I kind of program myself to, take people's compliments and take all the accolades that you achieve. I know it sounds wrong, but with like a pinch of salt, because I think when you start to really think about all the things you've done, you start to lose sense of how you need to move forward. You kind of hold on to the past of like, I did that. And then maybe sometimes you hold on to the past with the negative things that come out of that, like whatever period you're going through. And releasing that album, being nominated for a Sama, and then you're like, yo, this is really amazing. And then, from that point on, as you would like know, that's when we kind of stopped G Family. We're like, cool, we've done all we can do. We like probably the most underground, really deep, artists that were nominated for a Sama, in my opinion. But yeah, but it was amazing. In my opinion, I also think that it kind of broke the silence, if I may use that word again, broke the silence in how, you don't have to write poppy dance music to be recognized by a music community in South Africa. And if you see that now, you have so many young guys writing really incredible, deep electronic music that is crossing that line of what's commercial and what's deep, and what's commercial and what's deep. And I think, G Family was that little breakthrough for the underground community. Yeah.
But I mean, just going back to the point of whether like the balance of looking back at the work that you've done and also acknowledging where you are right now, and more importantly, checking where and what the future holds. You know what I mean? I think it's important, bro. Like, I think that we shouldn't just completely forget, the work.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's an important part of what we do, definitely. So when people go back and check who is Julian Gomes and what has he done, and those things appear in your catalog, they appear in your bio, and it just shows the work that you've done. And it's not always about moving forward the next big thing, but I also I do agree that it's similarly, it's like
It's a balance.
yeah, it's a balance. It's a balance. You also need to be aware that you're not stuck there. You're not like remaining a summer nominee in 2020. And only thinking about that. The future is there's much more greater possibilities of the future.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure, bro. I want to ask you about your relationship with Cat La Cat. I know you guys are close, where did that start? And yeah.
Yeah. No, we very close, bro. Like, where I start, bro. We basically, you could say from matric, going out of matric, that's when I met Cat. And yeah, man, like for me, he's an incredible DJ, selector. He just has his own style, bro, and he's defined his sound, and people love him for it, including myself. Like, he's one of my favorite DJs. So yeah, man, Cat Like Cat's my brother, man.
For sure, dope guy too, man. There is something that I wanna get into before we continue the interview. I mean, it's not really an interview for me. I consider these things just as chats, if you know what I mean. I want to ask you about your relationship with Edges. How did that begin? Actually, before we get to that, right? I've got a surprise for you, and I've got someone on the line. I've got lots of surprise. I just made a call to the UK. What's up, Martin?
Hello. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Locked down with the children. So, teacher life.
Yeah.
Teacher life.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I've got Julian on the other side, and the reason I was giving you a call, just if you could share some words about your guys' relationship and you guys work a lot together,
Absolutely. It's been quite a long time now. We're heading towards 10 years of friendship and also 10 years of partnership in music. And it's been, I've been doing this a very long time, and I have to say I don't think I've ever had so much fun and so much good output working with anybody else. Julian's an incredible, good vibe to be around. He's an upbeat person. He's a very thoughtful chap. And when you're in the studio with someone as bossy as I am, it takes someone only like Julian to be able to deal with that. But what we do is we get the job done. And it's always it's always has been, and I'm sure it always will be, really exciting times when we go in the studio. It's a real melting pot and bubbling cauldron of emotions and ideas, but we also get those emotions and ideas down quite quickly, and also we can quite easily remove and delete stuff that we think is of no use without having our egos attached to it. So it's been, for me personally, working with Julian, and from quite early on in Julian's career, it's been a really nice ride. I'm very fortunate to have hooked up with him, to be honest.
Man, thank you so much for this. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, Julian, do you want to say anything before we carry on to Martin?
Yo, I got you on this call, bro. I'll call you back.
I've changed my number.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, he can hear
Yeah,
you.
I'll call you back. But yeah, man. Regarding like the relationship with Martin at Jazz, yeah, I mean, I'm very like grateful, that we crossed paths, and I kind of found a big brother at Jazz, and Martin at Jazz. Yeah, he's just taught me so much, and like you said, the ride's been like really amazing, man. Like the amount of memories we've shared all across the world, to be honest, like in different parts of the world, gigging, like the laughter, the memories, the good times, the bad times, the times that we're frustrated, the times that we, have just been, trying to figure out what's the next step for our collaboration. Yeah, man, I definitely cannot deny that I have a big brother at Jazz, and that he has kind of show me the ropes and help me out and giving me guidance and be like, look, bro, I've been through this situation. I'm telling you now, it's not really a good situation for you, but go ahead, move forward, do your thing. And yeah, like you have to learn to also, like, when you go through things, you're just gonna have to learn to get through it. So it's just like this big brother guidance, working with each other. And our collaboration, like he says, is unique because Martin is like, I'll explain his studio energy. It's like his studio energy is on a whole other level,
Let's talk about him. Let's let him go actually, because he needs to get to the kids. Martin, thank you so much for doing this. But we're gonna expand on the conversation with Julian, and
of course,
in addition, brother, like I'm also looking forward to have you on the show later in the next few weeks.
That'd be awesome.
For sure, bro. Thank you so much.
Nice one, Chief. Yeah.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Call you back.
Cool, bro. Yeah.
You're calling now.
Yeah. Cool. Dope. I'm glad we can do these things and in real time.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I wanna ask you really about, with regards to the relationship with Martin. My relationship with Ralph Gum is kind of similar. Like here's an older guy who sees some potential in you, and also like helps you grow as an artist as well. I want to ask you about the mentorship part of being a producer. Like in South Africa, bro, like you would know that there aren't many proper mentorship programs, especially for artists. We kind of have to rely on learning as you go, teaching yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you do have a mentor, what does that mentor bring into your artistry?
I think it's important to have a mentor, and like I don't think there's one artist in the entire world like they can say I never had a mentor, like in some shape or form. I don't think there's one single artist, because a mentorship is, even like the greatest artists in the world, and no matter which artist you are, whether in pop or whatever house, electronic, whatever music genre you're from, like you always have a mentor. And I think how important it is just like, some sort of guidance helps, because, okay, let me explain it this way, bro. So in South Africa, if I take it back a bit,
Sure.
In South Africa, we have in my opinion, we have like mentors, and all over the world, not only in South Africa, let me not generalize it, but all over the world, sometimes you have mentors that only mentor because they can gain out of the situation. You know what I mean? Like in the music industry sense. And then if you are blessed enough to find a mentor that you can, really be mentored through and like kind of work together with, like in your case with Ralph, in my case with at Jazz, I think that's like such a big blessing because in a lot of those situations, it can quickly go left very quickly. Like it can be like, oh, I'm going to hold you down and control you more than I'm going to teach you and watch you grow. And that's a problem that I've seen with so many artists, bro. And as an artist yourself, you also have to know, okay, when's the best time for me to pull the cord and detach myself and kind of go on my own journey? Because I think every artist gets to that point where they had someone mentoring them, and then at some point they're like, cool, I'm going to start my own thing, I'm going to do my own thing, and I'm going to go, I got my wings now, so now I'm going to fly. So I think that's very important. If you do have a mentor, you cherish that relationship, but also understand that at some point you have to go and do your own thing, and then you have to be the mentor, and you have to bring up someone, and it's just this chain reaction of doing that. So that's how I see mentorship all across the world, not only in South Africa. So yeah, man. And in terms of what you want to call it, platforms that give mentorship, I think we could use a bit more, in South Africa and all across the world, because it feels like the music industry is designed and the music industry is changing so much that people are struggling to catch up to all the information that that they can't get their hands on or their minds on at this point. So more activation in the sense of trying to get artists to kind of sit down with other artists and talk about their journeys. Like, for instance, this show is very important, so that you don't have to go through the same mistakes that I went through. You don't have to, let me be your mirror. Let me show you what actually happens. But don't also let my journey taint your journey. Like, you're going to do whatever you're going to do. So don't just also measure my journey up to your journey and try and make it similar. Like, do your thing, learn, make mistakes, grow, and like have as much ambition as you want, and just do everything you need to do to reach your dreams. And that's how I see mentorship.
Yeah. I want to ask you about mistakes because you're mentioning it, and I personally, I embrace mistakes, bro. Because that's how we grow. That's actually a very important part of growth. If you don't make mistakes, there's no growth. There's a quote that I heard from someone saying, if you want to double your success rate, you need to triple your failure rate. Like the more you fail, that's actually the more you grow and the more you learn. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. And I want to ask you about mistakes, though. What mistakes do you think you've done in the past that you kind of like, but this, I think I can learn from it?
Well, I'm like grateful for my mistakes. Like I'm so like for me, mistakes are and not even mistakes on my part, but like just situations within the music industry that kind of pulled and like really tugged at my heartstrings, as I felt maybe I was betrayed, or I felt that this situation is weighing too much in the favor of someone else, and I feel like there's also a lot of times in the music industry when you break through and there's people using you and attaching themselves to you and kind of just wanting to be there for the ride and then get what they can get out of it and then move on. So all of that being said, I'm actually grateful for that, because I believe that every situation that I might not like agree with, or that I didn't really do well for me, I felt that, like you said, it was a failure it was a failure in a way, but it kind of also gave me the vision and the strength to be like, cool, and the courage to be like, cool, that was that, but this is this, and now it's time for me to do this. So yeah, man, failing and mistakes and all of that is all a blessing to me, bro. Like, it's just if you don't get it, then you don't know where you're going, and you don't know where you have to go. So yeah, man, I think people need to embrace their mistakes. They need to embrace their failures and move forward. Yeah,
for sure. And I think it's such a deceitful thing to think that everything will always go your way as a person, just in general. If you think like that, you are in for a ride. You are in for a ride, man.
You can't.
For sure. I want to ask you about a difficult moment, and we've spoken about this, me and you, on different occasions. And I'll talk about mine because I also want to share these moments with people so that people can understand that, yes, everybody goes through some stuff, And last year, I had a great start of the year. We had a lot of gigs with Ralph Gum's album tour. We were gigging, bro, from the beginning of the year up till like July, August, something like that. But then something happened in August, September, October. I got really, really sick, man. I was hospitalized. I was like, I couldn't do anything. I would spend literally half my day in the bathroom, just from sickness, and it was a very difficult moment in my life because it was happening at the same time where I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with regards to my music, where I wanted to go with my music, and it really took a long time for me to get back. I had to get back physically. I had to get healthy first before I could actually tackle the music conundrum that I had. You've been sick before as well, man. Like I remember speaking to Kat, and you and I spoke about it too. How does sickness really affect one's mind?
It's like, Brian, your story and my story and the stories of so many people within every industry, but especially the music industry. I want to concentrate on that, right? Because I feel like sometimes we don't really take care of ourselves, bro. We really don't. Like we think like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna not sleep. I'm not gonna eat properly. I'm just gonna carry on living the life that I'm gonna live, and sooner or later it catches up to you. But not in everyone's case. Like, so how would you deal with it? In a mental space. I think life just throws things at you, bro, and you have to get through it. Like sometimes you feel pain, sometimes you feel love, sometimes you feel agony. It just depends what you're going through. But I do know that the war starts in the mind, and it's all about how your mind deals with things. Cool, like I'm having a really good run of gigs, or I'm really having an amazing tour, or like this amazing album, but then all of a sudden something swipes you left and you're like, okay, cool, I'm in a very unfamiliar place now. I was here, but now I'm here. So yeah, I think mentally, bro, you just have to like overcome anything. It doesn't even have to do with just sickness. It has to do with relationships. It has to do with people that are close to you, that you're trying to bring up and also take care of, and relationships that you have with them, relationships that you have with your family, relationships. You're always gonna have problems in life. Like it's just one of those things. But like if you have a problem-free life, you don't have life, because life is, like life is real. Like it's full of problems. It's full of joy. It's full of love. It's full of agony, hatred, jealousy, selfishness, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, man, I think it starts in the mind, bro. Like whatever you're going through, whether it's relationship, stress, sickness, not like your health not really doing well, yeah, all those things, bro. Like it all starts in the mind. And look where you are today. Look where I am today.
Yeah.
Like we've seen places, we've been, like we've toured, we've seen the world. Like so, those situations don't really define where you're going. So it's just about your mind and how you control your mind and how you fight that feeling of like, oh, should I give up now because I'm not feeling well, or should I give up now because I had a bad relationship? So yeah, you just got to keep your mind solid and keep your mind right, and that's it, bro. You'll be fine.
For sure. If I may add, man, like I've noticed that as I'm growing and as I'm learning to handle my difficult times and my difficulties better, as I'm learning with that, I've realized something, that as a person, you kind of like, I could say, the way we're talking, and we're trying to empower other people now, depending on where the next person is mentally. So I could say, if you said the exact same thing to me when I was sick, to say, man, you gotta empower your mind, you gotta do this, it was not gonna register. like it's registering now, and I'm making this point because I've got into a routine, I've learned ways of, changing my mindset and not really waiting to be in a difficult moment, in a difficult space for me to actually deal with myself mentally. So what I mean by that, um, somebody could be going through something right now, and if their mindset is not right, even if people, no matter how many people come to you, people could show you, man, you gotta be strong, you gotta do this, but it might not register, and I think it takes training, daily training sometimes, especially we don't get to do that, and we don't get to talk about how do we train our minds, for moments that might happen that might disturb us, because some usually when those moments happen, they catch us off guard, like, man, this thing happened, I wasn't ready for this. Now you're playing catch up, and I'm mentioning this because I've recently started going to therapy, and it's been so helpful for me, bro. Like, I'm not sick, and people, you don't need to be sick to see a psychiatrist. Like, you could actually do this as a regular thing, just to help your mind deal with certain issues, either past issues or current issues, or just anxiety about the future. And on this particular show, if I may add, I've got we have a resident psychiatrist, Dr. Gwen Tonyani. She's at the Life Kastenhof Hospital in Midrand, and the way she's helped me, it's really it's a new thing for me, but I can see it working. I can see the improvements in my mind, and I just want to encourage people, guys, if you do have mental issues, if you feel like this is a bit too heavy for you, I would really suggest seeing a psychiatrist, or somebody who can help you, a professional who can help you with that. Anyway, I had to get that out of my mind and out of my
That's
heart, bro.
cool, bro. Like I respect that. That's important, bro. Like, cause as we all know, like mental health in today's society it's a real problem, bro. Not like a lot of people are struggling with it, because of just how things have changed and how digital media influences us. But so like you got, in my opinion, like I just see a lot of people struggling with it, but there's also like the stigma that comes with it. So it's like a double-edged sword. So you're going through problems, but then you also have to like defeat those problems with another problem of people seeing it as weak, as talking out about mental health. And especially for men, or like even in African culture, like if you come across as being like, "Yeah, I have problems mentally," like I've spoken with a lot of my friends, and it's almost like seen as a weakness, which is sad. I think people should be able to talk freely and say how they feel, and get help. So if you need help, get the help. And there's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to the music before we
Let's
depress.
get back to music,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. Let's get empowering a bit more, something more uplifting. You are one of the alumni for the Red Bull Music Academy. I mean, it's yourself. Black Coffee is one of those. Transmake Soul, Tula the Song, and that's where your smash hit really came from, Love Song 28. But I want to ask you about the experience of being in a Red Bull Music Academy 2 weeks, in those 2 weeks. How is the experience?
Bro, it's incredible, man. Like I've always said it, man. Like that experience, like literally changed like my life, in my opinion. If it wasn't for Red Bull Music Academy, because it also came at a time where I was almost being forced, pushed into the system of like, what, this DJ thing, you're never gonna go anywhere with it. Like DJing things are hobby, man. Relax. Like just go to work, and you must do what your Portuguese ancestors have done forever.
Open a shop.
Open that shop and run that shop. And I was like, nah, bro, I'm not doing this. Like, so I was working at that time, because obviously I had to provide a livelihood for myself. So working in like a supermarket, proper Portuguese vibe, in the middle of CBD, and yeah, man, just kind of working there and trying to figure out what I wanted, and then doing music at night, and then like falling asleep. Bro, the stress of falling asleep on your MIDI controller and having the keys on your face. You're tired. So yeah, man, I think I entered the Rebel Music Academy, and I got in, which is like it's a rare thing because it's just like not everyone is fortunate enough to go to the Rebel Music Academy. So I head out to London. I land. I'm treated like a first class, artist, high tier artist, whatever. Just picking up like shuttles, hotels. I've never experienced that, bro. Like I've never even been on. At that point, I don't think I was even on a flight. It was like my first time in an airplane.
Damn.
So I got on the airplane, went to London, and the academy changed my life, man. Like just being in that energy for 2 weeks can do so much for upcoming producers and artists. That it just it propels them into another, another like world, bro. Just like being like, I love this thing so much. I'm going back home, and this is gonna be my life. And that's what Rebel Music Academy did for me. So I got home, quit my job, and yeah, bro, I was just telling myself it's either this or like it's cool, bro. Like I can die. It's either music or death. So it's fine. Let's go, bro.
Yeah.
And that's what the Rebel Music Academy gave me, that much courage, that much power, that much, belief in myself. And funny enough, like you said, that's where Last 28 was made. So I don't know, man, that energy in that place for 2 weeks, being around those people, like from all walks of life, from all genres, doesn't matter. That the creative energy in that building is incredible, man. But as you know, it doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. But I have to say, the guys that ran it and did Rebel Music Academy and Rebel itself, man, they've done so much for the music community. They really have, bro. They've really just ask, any artist that went to the academy, and they'll tell you straight up, like it was a life-changing moment.
And I mean, besides the academy itself, even after that, they still do stuff. They've got the studio in Cape Town, the different floors that they have in different festivals, like Opikopi. I've played at one myself, and I love what they do. I love really the work that they've done for the culture. I mean, it's really amazing. I want to ask you about albums. So your debut, Late Dreamer, also had smash hits. And now you've recently last year released Slow Poison. I want to ask you about the conflicting, moments of creating a sophomore album. What kind of pressures were you, did you experience, especially in the creation of Slow Poison?
Well, I mean, there's always that sophomore. They call it the sophomore curse, where you struggle to write an album because you're always just thinking about your debut album and the success of that album. But like I think I got to a point where it started, and I started to feel that energy. But then I was also like, you know what? What does it really matter, bro? Because at the end of the day, for me, I want to make music and I want to affect people, and I know that each composition has a different story to tell, and it's going to affect every single person in a different way. So, that's where I got to with Slow Poison, and I was like, Late Dreamer was Late Dreamer, Slow Poison is gonna be Slow Poison, and I eventually got over that hump of like the sophomore curse of always thinking, oh, like I need to make it like Late Dreamer, or I need to write the same kind of energy that I wrote on Late Dreamer. But another thing that I still tell myself to this day is that, when people experience you, like when you walk outside, right, and you see the sky for the first time, and you see how blue it is, right? That's how you experience the sky. So now, if you walk in the next day, like how you experience things the first time is always gonna grab you. So when I come out with a debut, you're always gonna feel like, yo, man, Love Song 28, your Late Dreamer, man. That's how I remember you, man, with your hair. Your hair was so big, it was combed back. That's Julian. Then when you move and you do something else, then you gain a new audience. They're like, yo, bro, it's Slow Poison, yo, Asambe, bro. Like, yo, those songs, yo, it changed my life, bro. So that's how I see it. I don't see it as how you see me in the beginning, how you see me in the middle, or how you see me at the end. I see it as you'll know me by what I've done, and this is what I've done. And take it, this is how you can take it. This is what I've done, this is how you'll know me. And that's how I write music till this day. That's how I'm in studio right now. That's how I'm going to stay, to keep evolving. Yeah.
Dope. I actually want to ask you about that. What are you working on, brother?
Yo, bro, I'm working. I've done a couple of remixes, which is cool. I haven't done remixes in a while because I always wanted to focus on like more of my solo stuff. But yeah, I did a couple of remixes with some really cool people and labels during lockdown. And yeah, I'm in studio. I don't really have a mindset of what do I want to do, but I'm in studio. I'm working on stuff. I'm seeing what I want to do. But you know me, bro. I never speak too much. I kind of just I'm just in studio, and then when things drop, they just come out of nowhere. They're like, "Yo, cool." Maybe they come in a year, maybe a few months, maybe 2 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm just always working, bro. I'm always just trying to lose myself in the music and keep evolving. You know?
Yeah, yeah. And I want to get into your label World Without End. What
Yeah.
what was the? I mean, you could have stayed on and only released on Ed Jazz's label if you wanted to. You know, I mean, the platform is there. It's a great label to be on. What was the inspiration behind starting up your own label?
Yo, man. But even like before that, I mean, I think I always wanted a label. Like I always wanted a label, right? So obviously at that there was a point in time when obviously Soul Candy, like because I released on Soul Candy, I released on House Africa, I released on Sony Music, I released on labels overseas, Arco, I released on HS Record Company, I've released on so many labels, but yeah, majority of my work has been on HS Record Company just because there was a good energy there, and I felt like I was benefiting in the sense of learning a lot about the music industry and how to run an independent record label, and in general just learning a lot of good things about the music industry, and most importantly I was also getting paid because a lot of the labels that I released on, especially international labels, the guys take chances, bro. So luckily I didn't get too burnt with that situation, but I just I was, like I said, I was blessed. I found someone who's cool. He's like, cool, I'm gonna release your music and you're gonna get sorted and I'm gonna teach you how everything works. And that's why I stayed with Arco for so long. But during that time, I also worked with Soul Candy. I worked with House Africa. I worked with so many other labels. Because for me, I wanted to own. And what's incredible about the situation, and I'm proud of, is that I still own all. I still own all my copyright. Like no one owns my masters. Like I own all my masters. I got all my copyright, and I think that was very important for me to work with people, but to lay the law down and be like, guys, I can work with you. Here's the license for this amount of time, but it comes back to me. This is my master. This is my copyright. This is like my blood. This is my legacy. Like it's gonna stay with me. So that was important for me. Leading into running an independent record label, I suppose I had my first glimpse of running a record label with Stay True Sounds when I started Stay True Sounds with Kid Funk. There's a lot of talk underground in the scene, or what was the fight about? What were Kid Funk? What was Kid Funk?
I think we let the people know what was that all about.
What was Kid Funk and JULLIAN Gomes fighting about? And the truth is, there was nothing, bro. There was nothing we were fighting about. We just started a label because at that time, Soul Candy kind of stopped its operation. And, there was no real, when me and Ellen decided that we wanted to do Stay True Sounds, we're like, yeah, man, we need a label that people can come on and release, and, youngsters can come on and we can have a platform and give them that platform. So that started out and that was cool. But then I slowly started to really see how running an independent record label is an extension of your art, your extension of your vision. And at times I realized that it was very important for me to have a blank canvas. And I kept having this image in my mind, like just a blank canvas. And that's when World Without End started appearing. And it was like, I would see the words appear in random places. And that's when I knew, cool, I have another calling now. And my calling is World Without End. And World Without End, I kind of stepped away from running an independent record label. A lot of people think it is an independent record label. But World Without End is more like a movement. It's more like a blank canvas. It's more of just a place, a factory where people can come and run ideas through this place and trying to reach different, people with it. So events, merch, art, fashion, whatever it may be. Because I just saw so many record labels running. But then I also realized, what is a record label in 2020? So you're trying to create like a community, rather a vision, like an outlet rather than a record label. And that's why I don't believe World Without End is a record label. It's just an outlet for ideas and art and music and fashion and events and experiences. And that's what World Without End is. Yeah.
Yeah, dope, man, dope. And I like the merch as well, you know, for World Without End. I saw you created a limited edition merchandise. I think that was really dope, man. Did you sell everything?
Yeah.
Do you still have some of that?
Bro, I have stock, man. And the problem is like I had, and we did the first event, and then boom, Corona, lockdown. So it's like it's been one of the situations where, like we were talking earlier in the conversation, where you have everything going for you, and you have so many things happening, and you got merged, and all of a sudden, like, yeah, no events, you can't go out, you can't do this, you can't do that. So you got to adapt and learn. Okay, cool. What's the next move? So I still got World Without End. World Without End will be back as soon as we allow it, and as soon as it's safe for people to come and experience the club nights. And yeah, it will be back, man. But for now, priority is people and the safety, and yeah, that's what we have to do.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you, I think, if you can, send me a sweater or something. Like, I don't mind paying for it.
The T-shirt, the club night T-shirt. You talking about that one?
Yeah, the T-shirt.
Yeah, I'll keep you one, bro.
For sure, bro.
Now you're gonna see a lot of people in the comments saying, "Yeah, no, keep me one."
Guys, you must buy.
No, I'll sort it out, bro. I'll keep you one.
Cool, thank you. I mean, like, yeah. I want to ask you about the club night itself, though. Like, it has grown, you know, but like, what can people experience? I mean, obviously now we're not going out, we're not going to clubs, but with you and N Club, which, I mean, they've got the best sound system in Johannesburg for a nightclub.
Yeah.
But how has the night grown? What have you experienced and seen with the club night?
Well, it started because, I mean, I felt like everywhere I played, and you would testify to this as well, bro. Like, everywhere we play as DJs in South Africa, a lot of the times we don't really get that club night experience. You know, we don't get the proper sound. We don't get like the infrastructure of like playing music in an environment that it was meant to play. Dance music was meant to play in environments like this. Not saying that it doesn't deserve to be played in environments like that, but you have to experience the sonics of the music, the sound design behind the music. It has to be experienced on an incredible sound system. It has to be experienced in like a nice atmosphere with like lights and a little bit of darkness and lasers, and that's what music was like. That's our music, that's our culture. So I started feeling like everywhere I went, like I just wasn't getting that feeling, man. Like I wasn't being able to connect the same way. Like it was just like cool. I play more of like an open air lounge kind of setup, which was cool, or festivals, which is cool. But I really felt like there was a need to do a club night. You know, everyone was doing open air kind of day, like Chisanyama vibe, which is cool. I'm down with that, but I also wanted to bring people into the experience of what club culture is and what nightclubs are, and that's how World Without End started. It was just me wanting to give this experience to other people the same way I experienced it when I was a kid. So, you know, there's not many clubs in Jozi, where you know very well. So, yeah, that was the idea behind the club night. And I would like to continue that and also branch out and do other like experiences that don't have to do with club nights, but rather, you know, other experiences. So, yeah, man, that's how the club night started.
Sure.
And it started with like I know when you do things for love, like you do things for love, bro. So when you start out and your legs are like burning, you're like, yo, man, I'm tired. There's only like 100 people at this place. Yo, man, like what's going on? Like people aren't seeing my vision. Then you do the next one. You're like, okay, cool, man. There's more people here now. Then you do the next one. It's like, wow, okay, now people are coming through. They're starting to understand the culture of not using your phone, because that's a very strict thing in Ant Club where you're not allowed to use your phone. You know, like I think you've played a set where I've seen videos of you play sets where like it's cool, but I'm not degrading people from using their phone. Don't get me wrong, right? But I think if you stand like a whole set and you're going in at angles and stuff, it's cool, bro. But it really takes away from the experience, especially if there's a line, like the line of energy is interrupted. Because I can't connect as a DJ. I cannot connect with the people dancing because there's a line blocking us, and that line has just got phones out and they're filming. And it's cool for some venues, and it's cool for some environments, like lifestyle clubs. Like in Ibiza, people go out to see DJs, but they also go out to capture moments of the lifestyle. You know, like I'm an influencer and I'm in Ibiza, you know. I'm an influencer and I'm at a club in Santa, or I'm in a club like capturing the lifestyle, you know, and that's like part of our modern day entertainment industry. But in nightclub and that stuff doesn't work well. Like there you zone into the music, phones down. You can use it outside if you need to. You don't take your phones away. But yeah, it's about the music, and you're in the music and you gotta experience the music. Like, because I can guarantee you'll take it, you won't take that for granted. And you'll hold on to that moment more because you experienced it as a real human being without experiencing it through your phone. And that's why I believe and why I love the World Without End Club Nights, bro.
Sure. And you know what? I respect that about End Club, and I there shouldn't be a debate about it, guys. You know, like guys, who, if you're watching this, there should not be a debate whether it's okay for the club to say no phones or it's not okay. That's their policy, you know, and there's reasoning behind the policy. It's not like people don't want you to use your phone or to take pictures, but it's a policy that the club has for a reason, and that's what they want to drive. That's the energy that they want to take out, and I think we should respect that. If you're coming into the club, have respect for the nightclub, you know, and what they stand for, and really try to experience what is what it what is what it really is that they're trying to relay to us, you know, with the no phone policy. And I think we would understand it much better. And I'm glad that you mentioned Ibiza. I want to ask you about it. You played there, you know, you started with the Deep in the City with Black Office and Temba Sundays, and then you are also part of the touring DJs for Africa is Not a Jungle. But I want to ask you about playing at high, you know, like how was the experience for you, bro?
Incredible, man. What can I say? Like it's incredible. I think anyone that's been there, from Capo to Ususa to Tulo to whoever, man, whoever's been to Ibiza, and obviously, like, we have to shout out Kofi and his team, and you know, because I mean, it also amazes me how Nati can kind of just be like, bro, like, I'm young, man. I'm sorted. Like, I can be doing my thing. I'm selling out festivals. I'm selling out huge clubs of like thousands and thousands of people. But you know what? I'm gonna bring my. Sorry, bro. This thing keeps screaming. I'm gonna bring my. I'm gonna bring my countrymen. I'm gonna bring people I believe in. I'm gonna bring the youngsters up so they can experience this. Like, and like, he also has this thing of like understanding, like, even Africa's not a jungle, right? It's, you know, there's so many guys doing amazing music, but they never get the platform, you know. There's so many guys that like are so talented and have every right to be on those stages with us standing right next to us, but they never afforded that opportunity. So by going to Ibiza, bro, like, that's a groundbreaking thing for any DJ, because that's like club culture capital in the sense of, yes, there's other places in Europe, but Ibiza is experience. Not saying that Europe's not, but it's just something about the island that captures you. A lot of people have the argument like it's not like it used to be back in the day and all of that. But you know, like, today's today, and we have to do what we're doing today. So my experience of Ibiza and playing high Ibiza was also learning, because it's like you're not playing in South Africa there, but like you're playing for a different audience. So you see how the way you play in South Africa, you'll be like, okay, cool, man, the song's not really working here. Why? And you're like, no, because it's got a long break, and the break's it's not really doing the thing like Europe, like the European like breaks, but they're just like constant, you know, constant rhythm, and like a little bit of break, a little bit of takiness. So you start learning, and you start, even if it's like being thrown into an unfamiliar situation, and you're trying to learn, like, cool, bro, like, I can't just play like the way I played in South Africa. But you're not going to change your style. You're going to do what you do within your style. But it's such a beautiful thing because you're challenged. Because by playing in South Africa is like playing in South Africa. You know the audience, you know the crowd, you know. But when you start playing all over the world, you start understanding, like, there's a difference. Like, people move differently, yeah. than they would back home. And you gotta start studying that, and then it's like a nice challenge as a DJ. And when you get it, it's like such a fulfilling experience because it's just you feel like, yeah, I cracked the code. It's like, yeah, man. And then you got people going up and down, and the crowd's whistling, and yeah, man. So playing high was a very big deal for me, and I'm very grateful to Nati, obviously, for like putting my name forward, and other guys behind the scene that were like vouching for me and saying, Nati, bro, like you gotta put Julian, you gotta get Julian in. So there was good people looking out for me in that situation. Yeah.
Sure, bro. I love this so much. And what you say is true, because I experienced it in a much smaller space. I played in Toronto in 2019, and it was a very small club. But even then, just as small as it is, even then, there is such a huge difference with regards to who you are playing for. You know what I mean? And I think the challenge is it's definitely evident. Black Coffee, I had him on the show last week, and he did mention that when he first played at Seco Loco, his first gig, in Ibiza, it was like very difficult for him because he wasn't aware of what to expect. He had no idea. He had never seen a DJ play there. He had never seen a video, and for him to really, it took some time for him to really get it. And he got it. And I think it takes experiencing that for you to understand it. You know what I mean? But just one last question, brother, as we close. What is that one thing that you would like to see happening in South African music?
One thing I'd love to see happening in South African music and South Africa in general, man, like I just feel like, the world's such a crazy place, man. Everyone is out, in my opinion, to achieve what they want to achieve. Everyone, like we have this culture of building people up just to break them down. There's like, like we preach Ubuntu and all of that, but it's like, do we really practice it? Like, are we really taking care of people that need to be taken care of? In the music industry especially, sharing knowledge like this is important. So I feel like we could be doing much more, in South Africa to uplift people because it's needed, right? I think like we shouldn't create this culture of building people up just to have the entertainment of seeing them fall. And I think that's a culture that like I've seen it's starting to really surface now in the music industry and in anything, bro. Like we have to like stay away from that. We have to be defined by our stories. We have to be defined by what we do, what we love, and we have to take it to the world, and we have to be the people we're meant to be. And that's what I believe that South Africa should like, in the music industry in general, like that's where the energy I think we should move forward with.
Definitely, bro. I love this so much. Yeah, man. I just want to say to you, thank you so much for spending this time with us and sharing your knowledge and experiences, bro. I really appreciate it, Julian.
Thank you, bro. Thanks for having me, and yeah, thank you for doing this, bro. Like it's so important, man.
Yeah, for sure, brother. And yeah, to everyone who's watching, thank you so much for tuning in. Please share the video. Please tag somebody who might learn from it. And let's remember to stay creative. Peace out. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed the episode. I just want to punt this out there and say if you have time tomorrow, please check out the Moving Circles concert. It's a performance that we did in 2017. Many people haven't seen the full performance, so we'll be streaming that tomorrow, Youth Day, 16th of June, on YouTube at 6 o'clock. You can get it on my YouTube page, Sir LSG, on the Gogo Music TV YouTube page, or on the Best Beats TV YouTube page, as well as at 8 p.m. in the evening. We will do the repeat on this page on Facebook, on my Sir LSG Facebook page, Google Music label page, as well as the Best Beats TV page. So that's the Moving Circles live concert featuring Ayanda Jia, Tandin Tuli, Zano, Sonia, Sims from the Muffins, and Nkululeko Tertius. Peace out.